Okay. Um, Today's class, in fact, I have planned something, but Gautam is a little uncomfortable with the fourth problem. Maybe I will spend few minutes on it and then we'll go back. Okay. So this problem is direct problem, Gautam. What is the difficulty here? Can somebody explain this problem from the group? So what is the difficulty in this problem? I don't know. Okay, phi u of t plus 2. How do you draw that signal? Can you imagine that? Okay, phi u of t plus 2. How that signal look like, Gautam? You is a. Am I audible and are you listening to my words, Gautam?
Yes, sir. Audibles
Yeah,
only, sir.
yeah, I'm audible. Yeah. Now you can see the slide. Are you seeing this slide? How do you draw this signal? So you know how to draw the signal. That's why you have to go back to the basics always. You should know how this signal look like first of all. Then only you can draw this signal. Okay, so the u of t signal looks like this. This is u of t. Okay, it starts from 0, it goes up to infinity. So if somebody is asking you what is u of t plus 2, what do you say? You should shift towards the right, okay? So it starts yearly. The signal starts here. So it's going to be like this. This is u of t plus 2. Minus 3 to minus 2, it's u of 2. So you also know that u of t minus 2 also. That's like this.
Amplitude is 5, sir. You
No,
mean?
no, for all the signal, I'm talking about only u of t. Value is 1 at unit step. Okay, all these are unit step. Now, if I'm going to say 5 times of u of t, what I'm saying is the amplitude of this signal is going to be 5 times. Okay, initially it is 1, it starts at minus 2, okay, and it now goes up to 5. So the signal looks like this. Is all right? 5 times u of t plus 2. The same signal, this one, u of t plus 2, but multiplied by 2. Now, can you see the signal clearly? How do you have to draw this signal? Is all right, Gautam?
Yes, sir.
Now you have to subtract it with minus u of t. Then what will happen to the signal? Okay, this is the third one, fourth one. Okay, so now what will happen? Minus u of t. So minus u of t, how it looks like signal? This is u of t. What will happen if I say minus u of t? The amplitude will become minus 1. Am I right? So naturally, minus u of t, the signal will be like this. So this is minus u of t. So I will draw it maybe down so that you can understand it. So the minus u of t signal is going to be. You agree? Are you with me now? Till this point, minus u of t. Now this is 5 units. Okay, here it is 5 units, and you are subtracting 1 unit from 0 to infinity. Then what will happen to this subtraction? What will happen to the signal phi u of t minus u of t? What will happen? Can you see the signal clearly? How it looks like? This point is 0. Okay, there is no amplitude here. The signal is not existing. So from minus 2 to 0, you have the full amplitude of 5. No problem. At 5, you are subtracting minus 1. Am I right? At 0. At 0, you are subtracting minus 1. So naturally, it's going to, from 5, it is going to come to 4. Okay. Then that signal 4 is going to exist forever. Okay, because you are subtracting minus 1 totally. Okay, this 5 is subtracted to 4. That's all. This is going till infinity now. This is also going till infinity.
Sir?
Naturally, it comes from minus 2 to 5, 5 to 4, 4 to 0. It goes on like that. Is it all right?
Sir, minus 2 to 0 again, sir, that only that point. Minus 2 to 0.
Minus 2 to 0, there is no signal existing. You are adding these two signals only. U of t signal is not existing below 0. Okay, there's no signal here. So from minus 2 to 0, whatever signal is existing here, you put it that. Okay, minus 2 to 0. 5. 5 is there, is it not? This 5 is going to come. Then at t equal to 0, this signal starts. Minus 1 starts. So naturally 5 minus 1, it becomes 4. 4 it will come. That will be there forever. Okay, that is what this addition of these two signals. In the same manner, you add one more signal. What is that? The third signal. 3u of t minus 2. You have to draw that signal first and then you add that. 3u of t minus 2. So u of t minus 2, how it looks like, first of all, you have to think that u of t minus 2, it starts at 2, it goes on. This is u of t minus 2. Now 3 times means it's going to be 3 the value, that's all. The amplitude is 3. So this signal now you are adding with this one. What will happen? Can you imagine? Minus
Minus
3
2 to 0, sir.
it's
Then
going to
4
minus
plus
3. Minus plus 3. Okay, plus 3 you are going to add now. 4 plus 3. You understand clearly now. 4 plus 3 is going to be 7. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Amplitude shift to 7.
Yeah, amplitude shift to 7. At what point? At what time? 0
Same
to
t minus 2.
so this 4 will be existing till 2. Okay. At 2 you are adding 3. Therefore at 2 it is going to go up like this to 7. Then it will go there like that. Okay, you understand? The same manner you have to draw the signal. The signal finally whatever you have drawn, it's like this. Okay, can you see it now? From minus 2 to 0 it's going to be 5. Okay. Sorry. I cannot use this here. Then 4 to 2 it is going to be 4. That is 0 to 2 is going to be 4. Then after 2 you are giving a 3, so it goes to 7, it will maintain. Then at again 4 you are giving a minus 7. Therefore 7 minus 7 is going to be 0. That's this signal. Why 7? This one. Minus last one is minus 7. Okay, therefore it is going to come to 0. So this is your x of t. Once you know x of t, you know how to time shift and then scale it. Okay, that's all. This is x of t. 4 units to the right you shift this signal. Okay, and then you scale it minus 2. And you scale it by minus 2 greater than 1 value, therefore it's going to get compressed. Then there is a minus. This minus indicates time reversal. Go through it all once again. You'll understand it clearly, whatever I discussed in the classroom. Evaluating integral is direct. Okay, so you have to simply substitute for t equal to 0. See cos 0 you are going to get first signal. See here. Okay, cos 2 0 you are going to get. Therefore the integral of del t is going to be always 0. Cos 0 is 0. Cos 0 is 1. Therefore it's going to be. Go through it again. All these we discussed in the classroom. Yeah.
Sir, in second question.
Huh?
Second question, sir. Second
Yeah,
question.
second question is also the same manner. T delta t minus 4 is a time shifted version of delta t, and it's non-zero only at t equal to pi by 4. So what happens? Sine 2 pi by 4 only you have to take. That's all. So sine 2 pi by 4 is sine pi by 2. T delta t minus pi by 4, this value is going to be integrated to be equal to 1. So sine pi by 2 is going to be equal to 1. That's all. The same value. Signal is shifted. Delta t is shifted. What will happen? The same one is going to be there. What's the problem? Yeah, what is the difficulty? Can you see it clearly? Delta t minus pi by 2. Delta t signal is going to be existing only for t equal to 0. Now this signal is going to exist for pi by 4. That's all. Okay, so then you multiply this with sine. What happens? You're going to get only that pi by 4 signal out. Time shifting. Okay. Sine 2t is there. You have to plug in for t pi by 4. You're going to get sine pi by 2 out. Okay, this integral is going to be equal to 1. Therefore, sine pi by 2 is going to be. Sine pi by 2, you know what is sine pi by 2? Sine 90 degrees is what? 1. That's all. Okay, the same manner you can work out all these problems. Okay, go through it once. With little bit of focus, go and search in the net also. Okay, the solutions you need to think. That's why I'm giving all these solutions. Now let us move ahead. Okay. So what is that? Gautam, it's all right. You are understanding now what I'm saying?
Okay, sir.
No, any doubt you have?
No, sir.
Which problem, in fact, you have difficulty that I have explained? Okay, the u of t. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
This one. Okay, you have to draw once you draw this signal, then rest of the things are direct. Okay, t minus 4, you have to simply push this signal towards the right by 4 units. So from minus 2 it becomes 2. Okay, 4 units. Then this
Sir,
4 will become 8. Yeah, yeah.
Sir, in above question, sir, on doubt in question type, check 4x of t minus 2 only there, sir. Above, we go above, sir. Yes, sir. Stop
Yeah.
here.
First one, sir.
First one.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
it is
This one.
this one, sir. 4x of t minus 2 is like time scaling or amplitude scaling, sir.
No, no, this is only amplitude scaling. See, t is inside. Look at that. Independent variable t is inside the bracket. Whatever operations you are going to perform, it should be inside the bracket. T operation.
Okay, sir. Sir, then it should be like fully covered, no, sir. Like they didn't give brackets, no, sir. It's only as sir. Like 4x
No, no,
of
no,
t
no.
minus.
It's the amplitude scaling. It will come only outside. 4
Okay.
xt minus 2. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Sir, once
Yeah.
go to above slide. Sir, this one, third one,
Yeah, minus 1.5, 1.5. What is the problem?
It should be 6 no, sir,
this one,
because 2 times of 10.
f of plus 2.
Which one? 2xt. This one, which problem? That one.
2 of x of
2x
2t
of
plus
2t,
2,
sir.
no, sir.
Third one, no? This one.
Sir.
Third one, what is the question? Question is third
Two
one,
of-
2x, 2t plus 2. That's right.
Sir,
Correct.
you-
Yeah.
that,
So first
that
you,
plus 2, sir.
first you compress it. Okay. So when you do x of 2t, the signal is going to get compressed.
Yes, sir.
And then you perform this amplitude multiplication, 2. The amplitude will get scaled
Okay.
by 2. And then you shift by
After that,
amplitude.
it's okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
After plus, by adding plus 2, it should start from 2 now, sir.
Yeah, then that case it's
Yes, sir.
this is wrong.
It's
Yeah,
starting from 0.
yeah. That's right. That's right. You modify it. Okay. That's
In
right.
the same way, second one also, sir. Second
Okay.
one also, it should
Yeah,
start
it should
from
be
2 now, sir.
actually shifted. Yeah, from 0 base it has to shifted up. That's right. Good. Good man. That you modified. Okay. This is modified. But these two are you have to modify. Good.
Okay.
These are all shifted. 1, 2, 3 all are shifted. Base with respect to base you can shift. Okay, now let us move. So this is a discrete time systems expression. In fact, I told you in the last class. Okay. So what is the takeaway point I said from this graph, this particular slide? These directed graphs are there. Okay. So what is that one particular point I said? Can you recall that?
R equal 1 by z tends to 1 by z.
Your voice is not clear, man. Little bit raise your voice. Yeah, now you can talk. Yeah. Yeah, what is that? R is equal to 1 by z. That's the key point. Anything else? Any other important point?
Successive samples in the unit sample response. R plus plus.
That one you have to clearly understand. Yeah, this is the key point. 1 by 1 minus r square. Okay. When you do the division operation here, whatever be the quotient that you are going to get, the coefficients of it, they're going to be 1, 1, 2, 3, 5 like that. And from that only, in fact, you are deriving the corresponding system function, okay, h of z. Let us understand that. See here, this is a key point. How these two are connected. Okay, look at this, 1 by 1 minus r square, it goes on like this. Okay, so I would like to spend another 5 minutes and then we'll go to our question with problems again. Okay, so try to concentrate on this 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll be learning again this, okay, but get this idea very clearly. 1 by 1 minus r square. When you differentiate, okay, when you divide 1 by this 1 minus r square, you're going to have this quotient. Look at the quotient terms and the corresponding coefficients are what, or these coefficients are what is sitting over here. Okay, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so naturally then I can represent this h of r like this. Okay, with the quotient. And then the successive samples are represented by h of n like this. So if the system is composed of adders and delays and gains, then I can write the successive samples at h of 0 h of 1 into r, h of 2 r square, h of 3 r cube, like that. Then in that case, I can write it as h of n r power n. So this is the key idea I said in the last class. So look at this, h of 0 indicates the first sample, this 1. H of 1 indicates the second sample, 1. So all these are the coefficients, okay? So I can represent the coefficient like this. So from where do we get this term y by x equal to hr equal to 1 by 1 minus r square? What is this one? When x is equal to an unit impulse, okay, this is the impulse response. So h of r is nothing but the impulse response of a given system. What is the order of the system? It is a second order system. Okay, a second order difference equation is what in fact you have taken, and the input x is nothing but impulse. For the impulse, system has responded like this, and these are all the coefficients. And you can represent this is the impulse response of the given system, and this is a transfer function, a discrete domain transfer function of the given system. Now I can change the r into 1 by z. Okay, so then what do I get? If I do that, I put r is equal to 1 by z, I'm going to get h of n z power minus n. This is a very famous discrete time transfer function of linear time invariant systems. Okay, and the h of z is equal to h of n z power minus n. Okay. Now I can represent for any z, any x of z, I can compute the corresponding x of z. Any x of n, you can compute x of z. So what is that in fact you are noticing? Key point here in this slide is z transform, this is z transform, maps a function of discrete time n to a function of z. That's the mapping I'm talking about. So I said in the last class this, I hope you can recall that. Okay. So the transform maps the, I hope you can recall that. So when you have a transfer function like h of s, I said you have a function like h of t e power n. Maybe I can put it on. Okay. So now this is the very famous Laplace transformation based transfer function. Now if I have h of z, it will be this is a connection. So think about this on your end carefully. Okay, what's happened? So n equal to minus infinity. Okay. Now, with this in mind, look at a few examples. For example, I want to compute Z transformation of delta n signal. How do you compute? Put x of n is equal to delta n in the given expression. Now, this signal, it is in what? The time domain form. Okay. So simply put delta n I'm interested in finding out delta n. The question is, how do you compute the Z transformation? Okay. Not to compute Z transformation. How do you do it? Take the signal. The signal is like this. At n equal to 0, signal equals to 1. Okay. So then our formula is x of z is going to be nothing but x of n z power minus n. Okay, that's my Z transformation. So when I'm doing it, what I'm doing, I'm transforming from time to Z domain. That's the key point. So like in the case of continuous time domain, when it moves from time t to S domain, you call it as a shifter. So this kind of transformation, you call it as time domain to frequency domain transformation. Time to frequency. Okay, so time to frequency domain transformation. Z transformation is the corresponding e power j omega n. Okay, in fact, we discussed about it long time back. Here, in fact, we have this x of n is equal to minus n. So you simply plug in this waveform. The signal is existing from minus infinity to plus infinity. You are doing this. Okay, n equal to minus infinity plus infinity. You are doing, but signal exists only for n equal to 0. Therefore, you directly write x of 0 z power j. For minus n equal to 0. Okay, then therefore it's going to be z power 0 is 1. So we're going to have x of 0 is also 1. Okay, this is your x of 0, x of n. Is it clear? So easily you can compute the corresponding what do you call Z transformations for various standard signals. The signals, various standard signals are what? Step, ramp, exponentials, okay, sinusoidals. For all these basic building block signals, you can compute Z transformation like this. So the entire course focus is more like that. Okay, you need to think how to transform the signals from time domain to Z domain, time domain to Fourier transformation domain. Okay, and how to compute the corresponding Fourier transformation, Z transformation for standard signals. That's where we are moving. Okay, so this idea is a basic. Okay. This is a signal. So we got it. Is the time shifted version, how it looks like. When I'm going to impulse and time shift, or what I am going to get, the signal exists for 1. X of 1, Z power minus 1, it's going to be Z power minus 1. So clearly you can see the time delay can be represented by Z power minus 1. 1 delay. Now can somebody tell me what is the answer for this? Think about this. Tell me what is the option. Apply the formula and see whether which one of these 5 options are right. Think for a minute. Every one of you please take a piece of paper and work out this and tell me what is the answer. What is the problem? Problem is this. You have to apply x of c. In order to apply x of c, you have to work out. This is a signal. Out of these 5 options, which one is right? Any answer? Anybody can explain this? Maha Arunachalam, what is the question, man? You understand the question, what I am asking? Maha Arunachalam. Kalaichalam. Shalini. How do you compute this? Okay, so look at this. See, these are all the samples you have. Okay, simply plug in this 7 by 8 the power n into this expression. Okay, z power minus n. So easily you can get the answer. Look at this. 7 by 8 the power n z power minus n u of n. That's the signal. So we can write this as 7 by 8 the power n z power minus n. What is this signal? Can you see it clearly? 7 by 8 power n. What is that? Can you see the series here? It's more like 7 by 8 z power minus 1 the power n series. geometric series. Okay, so if you have a geometric series like this, you can easily find out the value as 1 by 1 minus a. Remember the geometric series form. We already derived the last class. 1 by 1 minus r. Okay, so the same thing. So this is a series. So this series can be represented as 1 by 1 minus 7 by 8 z power minus. That's the answer. So this is a geometric series. Okay, you have the series here. You can clearly see that. Okay, 1 by 1 minus 7 by 8 z power minus. That's the answer. In the same manner you can work out, but later on we'll do it. But right now we'll move our focus back, okay, to the concepts what we have been learning. Okay, number one, you need to know about this kind of problems. Find the even and odd parts. Can I do this problem? Gautam, Alex Chelvan, how do we solve this problem? Find the even and odd parts. Or how do you compute
If
even and odd
x of
parts?
t is
Can you
equal
remember?
to x of minus
Yeah, that's all.
if x of t is equal to x of minus t, it is even.
Yeah, put that easily you can get it. Put x of t, this is x of t signal. Put x of, instead of t, you put minus t. See what's happening. Okay, so a cos of minus t is what? Cos t only. It is not, it's an even signal. Cos t. Look at, always remember the waveform. Okay. If you look at the cos waveform, it is like this. Whatever value you're going to get here, you're going to get. So it's an even signal. Cos of minus t here will be always be cos of t. Therefore, that's quite obvious. Sin of minus t, it's going to be minus. Okay, so this is your signal. Remember that. So sin of minus t is going to be minus sin t. Okay, so that's clear. So then you multiply these two, cos of minus t, you're going to get this. Now this will be your signal. The even parts are cos t, and the odd part is sin t plus cos t. Is it clear? So that's how you have to work out this kind of problems. You may get this kind of problem in the exam. Okay, so think carefully. Any doubt on this? How I am doing it?
Sir,
Can I repeat?
if there is, sir, if there is negative, that is a odd function, sir. If there is negative,
No, odd function you have to understand clearly. So for example, I have a signal x of t. Okay. If this signal, if I simply change time reverse the signal, if I time reverse the signal, I'm going to get x of minus t. If x of t is equal to x of minus t, then I call the signal as even. You understand? Are you getting the point? For example, I have a cosine waveform like this. Cosine waveform starts like this and it goes like this. So in that case, the waveform is like this. If you look at this waveform, x of t is here. You agree? T is here. X of minus t is here. Whether the x of t and x of minus t are one and the same, the values are all one and the same. This amplitude point. Okay, they are one and the same. That's why I'm saying it is an even signal. But if you look at the sin t, okay, clearly you can see that x of t, okay, will be equal to x of minus t when if this is negative. Okay, or else I can say x of t is equal to minus of x of minus t. So that's the waveform we are talking. So naturally, when you put cos t and put minus t here, what do I get? I get cos of minus t. So naturally, it is an even part. Same signal I'm getting. Okay, x of minus t or something. But sin t I'm getting minus sin t, and cos t minus t I'm getting minus cos t sin. So naturally, these two parts are the odd part of my signal. This is my even part, and this is my odd part. So when you add an even part and an odd part, I'm going to get my signal x of t. Okay, so that's the way you need to think. Okay, it's all right. So I split up the signal into even part and odd part. So you have to substitute t equal to minus t, then you have to work out. The same manner, okay. What about power? What do you mean by power? Power is applied to provide an indication of how much work can be accomplished in a specified amount of time. Okay. The power is nothing but rate of doing work. In fact, you might have learned this all in the basics of physics and all. Okay. But normally energy is measured in terms of joules. So how much amount of joules, the rate of doing work. Okay, that's power. So naturally, joules per second can give you the power, the watts. Okay, so if you look at the case of a simple resistor or something, normally you'll be thinking in terms of the charge, and the voltage is the potential difference. See how much amount of energy is being transferred. Okay, that's the work done. That's given by W by V equal to Q is what the general formula is. For example, a simple case. Find the voltage between 2 points. Okay, between 2 points, we're going to find the voltage, the potential difference existing. If 60 joules of energy are required to move a charge from one point to, or to move a charge of 20 coulombs, okay, between these 2 points. How do you compute? We know the work done, okay, we know the energy, 60 joules of energy is required. That is the work done, that's the point. Okay, so then coulombs is 20 coulombs. So naturally, you require 3 voltage to perform this particular operation. 3 voltage is what you require. So the 3 voltage, if it is there, then you can move 20 coulombs of charge from point A to point B. Okay, with 60 joules of energy is required. Okay, to do that job. So 3 voltages, the minimum is required. So with that in mind, now look at the energy power expression that we are going to do. So look at this. There is a DC supply. R is equal to 1 ohm. What's the power? Power is power through the resistance. See, the power required to move the charge here in this case is P square by R. Okay. Power is equal to voltage into current is what you have learned. So V square by R you can write. Okay. V by R will be V square. So that is joules per second is what we learned. So if I'm going to do this charge for 1 minute, then what is the amount of the current the energy supplied? It's going to be V square into 60. V square by R is equal to 1. For example, in this case R is equal to 1. Therefore V square 60 joules is what the amount of it is. So naturally energy is nothing but the integral of power. Okay. So normally we'll be taking this V square term with R is equal to 1. Therefore normally if any signal comes, we'll be squaring it. Okay. And then I'm going to do this kind of operation for DC. So we're going to have a square of T. This is nothing but the power for computing DC case. Okay. So energy is the integral of power. So naturally the expression is E infinity is going to be a square of T dt integral of minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay. So if it is for real signals. If it is for complex signals, I'm going to take the mod operation. Okay. X of t the whole square dt. So these two are the energy computing expressions. The same manner, you can compute it for discrete time signals also. That's nothing but x of n the whole square. Okay. With a signal value indexing between minus infinity to plus infinity. This mod for complex signals also. Okay, so power is nothing but over a period of time you are going to compute. So in that case, 1 period with t running to infinity. Okay, 1 by t of minus t by 2 to t by 2 x of t the whole square dt. The same manner for the corresponding discrete time domains. Remember these 4 equations. Now let us try to think about this a bit. Let us imagine my signal x square t I am writing here. I am going to compute the energy for the signal. My signal is existing from a periodic waveform like this. It goes on from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay. If I compute the integral for such a kind of a signal, okay, what will be the power value will be? So let us imagine it's a periodic waveform. It is going to be like this. Between minus infinity to plus infinity, you're going to compute. Okay. What will be the energy value? Can you compute the energy value for such a kind of infinitely it's existing? Okay, it is existing from minus infinity to plus infinity. What will be the energy value for that such a kind of a signals? Are you getting my point? What I'm asking? See, I'm asking. The question is clear. I'm going to compute the energy. Okay, When I'm going to compute the energy of the signal, I'm doing this operation. Signal is x of t. I'm going to compute the energy. Okay. The signal is existing like this, a periodic waveform. For one signal, for one cycle, okay, if I integrate this signal, what is the value I'll be getting for one period? For example, 0 to 2. If I integrate, what will be the value I'll be getting? Huh? For only one period. If I integrate, what do I get? Area. Huh?
Square by 2.
No, think carefully.
Square
No,
by
no.
2, sir. T
No,
square.
no, no. Huh? Anybody else? See, this is one cycle, man. It's a periodic waveform. I'm saying this is one cycle. The cycle is like this. No, this is plus 1, this is minus 1. Carefully think. This is plus 1, minus 1.
0, sir. No area, sir.
Yeah, that's important. That's the idea I'm looking for. So you have to clearly think this is the one period I'm integrating, man. So I'm going to get this area first. Then I'm going to get this area. You understand my point, what I'm trying to convey. So naturally, this is whole 0. The area is going to be 0. But what I'm doing, I'm not taking x of t here. I'm taking x square of t. So naturally, negative also will be pushed up like this. Okay, negative values won't be there. So what is the current for area I'll be getting is what I'm asking from minus infinity to plus infinity. What is the area?
Minus plus infinity volt.
Good man. That is, you'll be getting a diverging integral. A diverging integral means what? Infinity, this integral is not converging, it is infinite integral. So for the question is, for periodic waveform, whether you can compute energy is the question. Whether you can compute periodic waveform? No. Okay. Periodic waveform, you cannot compute. Yeah, that's it. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so you cannot compute energy for periodic, but you can compute the power of this kind of signal, okay, by working out the, for a one particular time period, okay, it's more like average power, okay, for only one time, I'm going to work out the, one time period, I'm going to work out the same thing, and I'm going to get the wave. Now for periodic signals, you can compute the power comfortably, like this. Look at this. Look at it. So for this signal, this is not, whether it is periodic, this signal, this is not periodic. Okay, it is existing between minus t1 by 2 to plus t1 by 2. So definitely the area is something very finite. So I can compute the energy of this signal comfortably by putting x square of t like this. So what do I get? I get a square dt minus t1 by 2 to t1 by 2. I'm going to compute the integral. A square t is what I'll be getting dt. If I integrate dt, I'm going to get t minus t1 by 2 to plus t1 by 2. I'm going to plug in. What do I get then? A square is going to go out. T1 by 2 minus is going to be t1 by 2. Is it clear? After applying the integral limits, I'm going to get this. So that is nothing but a square t1. Because t1 plus t1, it's 2t1 by 2, it's going to be t1. So that's the expression for the energy, computing energy for an aperiodic signal, like this, aperiodic. But for a periodic waveform, I'm going to compute power. Okay, the power is given like this. X of t is like this. This is a periodic waveform. You agree? This is a sinusoidal waveform. It's periodic. So I'm going to compute the power. So when I'm going to compute the power, it's going to be between average. It's going to be average value. Okay, between one period I'm going to work out 1 by t of that signal area. So that if I'm going to do that, so it's going to be between minus t naught by 2 to plus t naught by 2. Okay, this a square is going to come out. This t naught is going to be there 1 by t naught. For one period I'm going to do it. So it's going to be cos square 2 pi by t naught t plus pi d. Everybody with me till this point? Anybody having difficulty in understanding this? Anybody having difficulty? Please ask. Gautam, are you clear? Are you in a position to understand this? Kalichalvan? Yeah. Which one you are finding difficult? Tell me. This idea is important, man. See, the basic idea I tell you, man. Energy and power is an important topic in the first unit. You'll get one question definitely in the examinations. Okay, so try to concentrate, understand it. Not only from examination point of view, computing energy and power is an important signal processing idea. Okay, so integration, when it comes to doing integration and all, you refer to Khan Academy. So you have difficulty in understanding integration. It's an excellent site. Some basic integrations is neatly explained in this. Maybe you spend 1 hour and go through some of the basics in this academy. You get more insight. Okay, for example, a square t. If I apply the limit, how I am going to apply? Okay, you have to apply the numerator, the top one first, top integral t1 by 2 minus of this. Therefore, it is minus t1 by 2. So plus is minus of minus become plus. So a square t1 is what you will be getting. So that and all you have to go back and refer there. Okay. So now you look at this integration. Now that one you are getting. Look at this one. How I am doing it is a cos omega naught t plus pi the whole square dt. So here you have to be a little careful. This is a cos square term. So this cos square term normally when you integrate, you will be applying some formula, trigonometric identity like this, cos 2 theta divided by cos square theta is going to be can be represented like this. Okay, cos square theta. So in that case, this trig identity is something you need to go back and refer. Okay, all these are beautifully explained in the Khan Academy series. Those who are having difficulty in working out this kind of problems and all, go back and learn all this. There is nothing wrong in it. Okay, going back to basics is always better rather than imagining that you know something and proceeding further. Always going back and referring to basic ideas. Maybe you would have forgotten, or you might not have learned properly, or you did not have put effort in learning that. All these are all right, but always you can go back and learn. That's my point. Okay. So now if you apply this 1 plus cos 2 theta divided by 2 for this particular formula, for this particular trigonometric identity, you will be getting this. Okay. Cos, see here, cos square becomes 1 plus cos plus 2. I am going to put it down here. 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. Now the 2 I am going to take it out. So this will become 1 plus cos 4 pi by t naught plus pi like this. Now tell me, what is this signal? What is if I am going to integrate this, what do I get? You already just now said if this is not squared, cos and sine, if it is periodic, if I am going to take the integral of it, what do I get? For one period. No, again, don't make a mistake. Yeah, this is not squared. See, if it is squared, you get some value. If it is not squared, it is a cosine waveform, it is a harmonic waveform, it is a periodic waveform, and you are integrating between one period. What do we get? Again. Huh?
0.
Again 0. Okay. So this is the waveform I am looking at. It is for one period. If I am going to look at, for example, from this point, compute this area between this entire point. This area is going to become 0. Okay, you have two halves. This half is get cancelled here. This half is here. So this area is going to be 0. Okay, so in that case, what you get? So you get these two terms, dt term and this term, dt term. So this entire integral becomes 0 because of this periodic property. This becomes area becomes 0. This again you apply the same idea. T naught to T naught by 2. A square by 2 is what into T. A square by 2 T naught. Okay, I am integrating this. So I will be getting T minus T naught by 2 plus T naught by 2 equal to T naught by 2 minus T naught by 2. Okay, then you will be getting 2 T naught by 2, 2 T naught will get cancelled, you will get A square by 2. Alright. Anybody having difficulty understanding it? So computing for this kind of, see, what about the power value of this particular waveform? Can somebody tell me?
0, sir.
Why it is 0?
0.
Why it is 0? Tell me.
Because it is the finite value we are splitting into many, no, sir. Average power will be like we are splitting a finite power signal into many.
Excellent. Very good. You understood the idea. Mathematically, you have to understand it very clearly. See, look at this. My original waveform, if it is going to be like this, this area I can compute. Okay, 0 to 30. I can compute this area. But if I am going to say this t becoming infinity, what I am trying to do is I am averaging out the same signal. This is finite energy. Okay, I am averaging out to infinity. In that case, automatically, if I'm going to average it out for infinity, it's all going to come down 0. Okay, the same area is going to become 0. So in that case, easily you can visualize that. That's why I put t tends to infinity here. Remember, this is what this signal is. T tends to infinity. But this t tends to infinity, we are not using it for the periodic waveform. Why? Why?
Their power will be 1 right for a periodic waveform.
The power for one
The
filter
structure repeats,
is the
sir.
average. Okay, that's going to repeat. You understand the point clearly. That power is going to be for, if you going to compute it for one, this is the average for the entire series because the signal is going to exist from minus infinity to plus infinity in the same manner. Okay, that is the average power. This is the average you are finding out. This is the power talking about. So what we have to put it here, t tends to infinity. But for periodic waveforms, okay, you need not put that primarily because the averaging out, it automatically what you are doing is for one period, whatever you compute, that is the average value for the entire length of the signal. That's why you are not putting. You understand the point? So for finite signals like this, if you're going to average it out for time t tends to infinity, the power value will become 0. This you are going to distribute, okay? This area you are going to distribute for the entire time t tends to infinity. So naturally this area is going to come down immediately. Okay, so easily you can visualize it. In fact, I told you this is a one signal, okay, and this is another signal. If it is going to be like this, when you take the area, what happens? It becomes 0, na? The same manner here. So if this is the area, you're going to take it for time t tends to infinity, the average. This is when you're going to average it out for this small area for time t tends to infinity, the power becomes 0. Entire area becomes 0. Okay, average becomes 0. Okay, that's average becoming 0 is a key point. So naturally for finite duration signals, whether you can compute power for finite duration
No, sir.
signal, no. For a periodic waveform, whether
Only
you can
energy.
compute energy, for periodic
No.
waveform, whether you can compute
No,
energy, no. For periodic waveform, you cannot compute energy. Energy becomes infinite, primarily because you are computing this integral, minus infinity plus infinity. Okay, so naturally, when you're going to compute it for a periodic waveform like this, that too squared. Okay, if it is not squared, 0. If it is squared like this, waveform is like this. So you get a huge amount of energy here for the periodic waveform. So it's a diverging series, it cannot be existing. Okay, so that's the key idea you have to understand in today's class. Now let us take up few important problems. Okay, one by one we'll try to work out, maybe another 15-20 minutes. Okay. Here is a first question. Yeah, take down this question in your notebook and try to draw this waveform in your end. Take 5 minutes time. You start working, you need not completely draw the entire diagram. Say if you are confident or not. One of you. Okay, few of you can say that. So I don't understand. Few of you can say. Few of you can say I understand. Just I want to check whether you are in a position to work out this kind of problems. Don't worry, I will not be asking this kind of difficult question in the exams. Okay. So simply you can just give a try. Just for your understanding purpose, I am asking. Can you draw this waveform? How many of you are confident, first of all? Just try in your notebook, take 5 minutes try. Yeah. How many of you felt comfortable? Anybody have drawn the waveform in the class? How do you draw the waveform, man? Can somebody explain? How do you draw this waveform? How do you draw this waveform? If you are clear about the problem which Gautam has said he had difficulty. Remember the problem? This kind of a problem. Okay. If we can work out this problem in the continuous time domain, you can work out this problem also. Okay. Only difficulty is, only change is difference. It is in the discrete time. Okay. How do you do it? See, whenever you get this kind of an expression, don't panic. Okay, it's very clear. Mathematically, it's very well defined. It is saying that the signal is moving with respect to this k vector. Okay, k is a running parameter. So you are going to plug in these values of k and c. You are going to see what you are going to get. Okay. So naturally, you start to see here they are asking for only some around 12 samples of data. Starting from 0, it goes up to 6 index, and starting from 0, descend -6. Okay. So these are all the samples they are asking you to work out. So how do we solve? What do you do first stage? Anybody from the class? Am I audible? Am I audible? Kanikumar? Harish Balaji? Maharmachalam?
So
Yeah.
for the given graph -6 to 6 in between range, there will be only one line of -4.
Okay. So that's your understanding.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? How do you draw this waveform, man? You know how to draw this waveform? I think most of you, I think you're not putting that required effort. Okay, we've been talking about this kind of U of n, delta n signals long time back. Okay, U of n signal, how it looks? Can somebody tell me? What is U of t? U of t is this. Okay, 1. If I'm going to sample this waveform, I'm going to get to this U of n. We already told you. Same signal. This is U of n. You agree? Now carefully look at the waveforms. You can do it comfortably. Look at this, what I'm doing. Practice it afterwards. Okay. You have to a little bit put some effort in doing this. Okay. K equal to -infinity to +infinity. Look at the amplitude. Don't forget this amplitude. There is an amplitude here. It is not a unit step signal. It's going to be amplitude of 2 initially. So start with this value. Plug in some value for k. K equal to 0, for example. Imagine how the signal looks like. It's going to be 2 times. So I'm instead of starting from k equal to -infinity to +infinity, I'm choosing one particular k and imagine how the signal looks like. Okay. So can you imagine that signal now? 2 times U of n minus U of n minus 2. You agree? This k value when it comes to 0, it looks like this. You agree with this? How many of you feeling comfortable with this signal? How many of you understood this signal? Anybody having difficulty in understanding this signal? Please ask again. I will tell. Can you visualize this signal? Anybody in the class? What is this nature of the? What is the signal? Can you visualize it? Huh? When I plug in k equal to 0, what do I get? This is going to be u of n when you draw. This is my u of n. U of n minus 4 means fourth sample onwards. This is u of n minus 4. If I subtract these two signals, what do I get? I get these 4 samples. It's a pulse. It's pulse with a value of 2. You understand my point, what I'm saying? Okay, so you can easily compute this. This is the first signal you compute. Then put the k equal to 1. Then put k equal to 2. Get all those values, time shifted versions, and then add all those values finally. That's all for 6 samples. Okay, for 6 samples, k equal to minus 6 to 6, maybe you can do it. If you add that, signal addition is not a big deal. Simply you have to add sample by sample. Whatever amplitude is there, you have to add. So that's how you have to work out this particular problem. Take it as a homework. Okay, think carefully and work out this. If you find it still difficulty, I'll work out in the next class. Okay, Friday class. I don't think it will be difficult. You can do it, but do it in a very steady manner. So you understand, how many of you understood this point, first stage? How I have computed this. Put k equal to 0, I'm going to get this waveform. That is going to be this. Okay, because this two, this is u of n, this is u of n minus 1. I subtracted these two, I got this pulse and multiplied by 2. Okay, 2 times. This is the waveform. The same manner I'll do it for the next one. What is the next one? K equal to 1. I put k equal to 1 here. What do I get? U of n minus 3. Next waveform. Minus u of n minus what? If I put 3 here, 1 here, I get minus 4, minus 3, minus 7. This will be the next signal. Compute that. Okay? Put below this one, that particular signal, whatever you're doing. Here, what do you get? From the third sample onwards. Okay, the signal is going to be from the third sample. And it goes up to 7th sample. I'm going to get this samples. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. It's the difference. So then you have to add these two in order to get next value. You not add, keep it. Finally, you can add all those. Then you go for the next one, k equal to 2. That's going to be u of n minus 6 minus u of n minus 12. Take it out. Okay. 4 times. 3 times 2 is going to be 6. Minus 4, minus 6, minus 10. Okay, for n equal k equal to 2. So if you draw this waveform, finally you add all this. So then you have to do it for n plus 3 also, because you have plus 3 plus 6 also, primarily because you are moving in this way also. Look at this, you are looking for minus 6 to 6. This direction you can draw, then you have to draw for this direction. Add all those signals, you can get the final result. Okay, so it's a little tricky, but you can do it. Only simply addition and time shifting operations. Time shifting. If you know time shifting, you can do it. Step signal, you should know. What is a discrete time step signal? Okay, do it and submit it. Next class, you tell me what kind of waveform you are ending up with. Okay, now this is what in fact. Can you draw this waveform? X of n is equal to 2 minus mod n. So mod n means what? If I have mod n like this, if I put minus 2 inside, if I take the mod of it, I'm going to have 2. If I put 2 inside, I'm going to have 2. So positive, negative, even 0 is going to be 0. So remember this one, mod. So then for this waveform, can you draw the waveform for this particular mathematical model? How the signal look like? Can somebody tell me? What's the kind of waveform we're ending up with? Nature of the waveform for this one? N equal to minus pi, what do you get? You understand? For all n values will plug in, starting from minus pi to plus pi, all n values. These are the 0. For all these n values, what do you get? Whether this waveform is a symmetric, odd or even function, this waveform. Who is attending? I don't know.
Even function.
It's an even function. Okay, very good. So you are seeing the waveform clearly now. Is it right? 2 power 0 is 1. This side is going to go down 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 8 like that. Okay. So the waveform looks like this. This is a waveform. This is an even function. Clearly you can see whatever value is n equal to 1 is going to same value for n equal to minus 1. So it's an even function. Very good. Think about this. Okay, so you can have discrete time signal, infinite extent also, finite extent also. We can represent discrete time signals in a form of a vector also. Okay. So this is an even signal, this is an odd signal. So whatever we have learned for the continuous signals, applicable for even and odd for discrete time signals. X of n, x of minus n. X of n minus x of minus n. Okay. So what is causal signal? Any idea? By looking at this expression, can you tell me what is causal signal for? The signal value exists for only n. If it is x, it is for n less than 0, the signal value will become 0. And the signal exists only for n greater than or equal to 0. That kind of a signal you call it as a causal signal. What is anti-causal signal? It exists only for time n less than 0, or the signal value equal to 0 for n greater than or equal to 0. Greater than 0, it is going to be 0, and less than 0, it is going to have some value. That kind of a signal, you call it as anti-causal signal. Okay, acausal means there's no non-zero components before and after n equal to 0. The signal exists both ends. So it is existing for any greater than 0, less than 0. So this kind of a signal acausal. Okay. Whether this signal is causal or anti-causal or acausal. This signal.
Anti-causal. Causal, sir.
It's causal. Okay, causal means it starts at time equal to 0. T equals 0. This signal is anti-causal. This is anti-causal. You can imagine that. Okay. I think with this I'll stop today's class. Time is up. So go through that problem what I gave to you, that discrete time problem. Work out that. Okay, and tell me the answer, whether you can solve it or not.